Hey everybody, week 3 of the Vengeance trilogy here on the Cigarette Burns. I am Liam, and today I will be reviewing Lady Vengeance, directed by Park Chan-wook, starring Young A Lee and Min-sik Choi, among other people. There's loads of other people in it, and yeah, it's basically about a woman, a very young woman, I think about 20, I think she is exactly 20, is sent down for murder and kidnapping and murder of a 6-year-old boy, and everybody thinks she didn't do it because she's such a young and beautiful woman and nobody suspected her, and everybody's shocked and everybody's appalled by it, and everybody in the back of their minds still thinks that she didn't do it. When she's released, she wants vengeance on the people who did everything to her. This is an incredibly well-directed film. Every single frame is just very strategically composed. It's beautiful to watch, especially in HD. Just the cinematography I can't fault in the slightest. I think it's some of the best of the Vengeance trilogy, and it just adds to the surrealism of some of the scenes that are in the first half. That being said, the first half does feel a bit long and does kind of drag a bit. That's the only real criticism I have about the film. It feels a bit confused in parts, and it feels like a bit forced some parts, but a lot of parts it is very powerful, and it works completely. And the second half is just, I can't express how much I loved the second half. If the first half was anything like the second half, was as good as the second half, this would be a masterpiece in my opinion, because the second half is just absolutely perfect. In the film, there are touches of Park Chan-wook's dark comedy, which is evident in like all of his films. I think every single one of his films. I don't know about Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. None jumps to mind for that one. But and I haven't seen JSA or Thirst, so I can't really comment on them. But I'm a Cyborg was very funny. It's filled with little touches of really black comedy. Some stuff's really black comedy, and some stuff is just comedy. Some stuff is very, very touching, and some stuff is very, very compelling, and some moments are just disgusting and horrific to watch, but still compelling at the same time. It is, in a manner of speaking, a beautiful film, which kind of mirrors the fact that for Gumja everything has to be pretty. Even the gun that she uses, that she gets made, she doesn't want a long range. She doesn't want anything effective. She doesn't care if it jams or anything like that. She just needs it to be pretty, and I think that's a great touch to add to the character, because I haven't really seen that in another film before, and yeah, it really worked. Now I will say, people who haven't seen the film, go away, watch it, and come back and watch the reviews like I do every time. It's probably getting old me saying this, but still, hey, I have to. So yeah, go away, watch the film, come back, watch the reviews. I'll give you 3 seconds, and we're back. If you're still here, you've seen the film, or you don't care, and if you don't care, then I don't know what to do with you. I think the best parts of this film, which is why I said now to go away if you haven't seen it. The best parts of this film are in the second half, and the most emotional parts of this film are in the second half as well, and the most disturbing. When we see the little glimpses of the tapes that the actual killer made, of him torturing children and him hanging them and stuff, and it's horrific to watch. It's really horrible to watch. And then we see the parents' reactions, which I can imagine that if you were a parent put in that position, then you would not know what to make of it. And they do incredibly well. The actors. It's so powerful. It's so emotional. It's so raw in the second half, which it's just kind of the opposite from the dolled up first half of like the bright cinematography and stuff. And it's even more effective in the fade to black and white version, because when it finally hits black and white in that last act of the film, all of the colour in these people's lives is gone, because either if they're a parent, they've just seen videos of their kid being murdered by somebody who wasn't convicted at the time, and at this point they don't know that he's in the other room waiting to be tortured by them. And Gumjar's been through a hell of a lot, and it's really emotional. It's really powerful. It's bloody amazing. When they're burying the body of the teacher, and she walks over and puts 2 bullets in his face, even though he's already dead. That shot to me said a lot more than most things in many Hollywood films these days, especially Hollywood revenge films, because that shot just said everything. And how chilling it was that there was that they ate a cake made out of his blood, just made the revenge that more sick. It put a sickly sweet twist on the entire thing. Pardon the pun. It took it to a whole new level, and it was just fantastic. I think Park Chan-wook did some of his best work in this, but some of his weakest at the same time. And I think the second half is some of his best, and the first half is some of his weakest. But the first half is still very, very great. Overall, I wouldn't say that this is his best film by any stretch. I'd still say that Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance is probably his best. Old Boy is very close to that, and this is third. Then I'm a Cyborg. I haven't seen the others. I'm a Cyborg just didn't really measure up to that, to the standard of the Vengeance trilogy for me. It was still very good though. Definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of the Vengeance trilogy and haven't seen it. This film was overall 8 out of 10. Ah, fuck it, 8.5 out of 10. Definitely check out the Fade to Black and White version. It's a great film, and the Fade to Black and White version is so much more powerful, in my opinion. It adds a really unique twist to the film. And quick side note, Park Chan-wook originally wanted to use the fade to where the film gradually fades from colour to black and white. He originally wanted to use that in Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, but didn't have the budget, so he used it in Lady, which I think was a cool little fact. Closing thoughts on the Vengeance trilogy. I'm really glad we reviewed this series of films, because it is possibly one of my favourites of all time, favourite series, favourite trilogies of all time. Could be my favourite trilogy of all time, because it's just every single frame of every single one of them is beautifully photographed, and everything in it just works, except for the first half of Lady kind of drags a bit, but I've already said that. This is a really good film. I really like it. Hopefully you do too. If you don't, that's fine. My opinion, your opinion. But yeah, that's it for the Vengeance trilogy. That's it for me for the Vengeance trilogy. Anyway, there's more reviews to come. So thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great, I think, 10, 12 days until my next review. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.